3, 2. And good evening and welcome to episode 26 of Endless Banter. You are joining us. Paul's just finished eating his Jaffa cakes. I'm drinking some of that I've thrown up earlier. And how's it going, Paul? Just to let you all know, we've been practicing the show before the show, so we're set this
Scripted, the whole thing scripted was shit actually.
we're proper scripting, so I hope everybody's doing all well. Everyone's had a good week so far. Back down to it. Paul, how's your week been so far? What have you had for tea? Have you told Tash you missed the spot when she was back in?
Week's been good. I broke up from work last Thursday, so I've been off since Friday. I had to go into Land Rover today, so I got a 40 seat.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Couldn't fucking make it, mate.
What's up with the seat?
We went to Western on Sunday, and then when I normally, like, because I've got seats, obviously 7-seater, on the middle row, there's a button on the top of the seat, and when you press it, it tilts the back of the seat, and when it's fully tilted down, then you can just put your hand on the back of the seat and push the whole seat forward. And while that's happening, the driver's seat moves forward out the way as well automatically. And then when I slide the seat back, like when they climb in the back and I slide that seat back, the back bit of the seat goes back automatically and my chair moves back into position automatically. That basically stopped working. So I managed to get this, like, and the seat was in the incline position. I didn't have enough room in the fucking car to get the kids in without that seat because we've got the push chair and whatever. So I managed to get it back into place, and then the baby plugged the seatbelt in, and the seatbelt fucking thing's fucked. So I needed some AdBlue today, so we went shopping, and it was the shopping centre was about 5 minutes from Land Rover. So I said to Tasha, I will call in and get some AdBlue while I'm here, and just let them see what's wrong with my seat, so they can order whatever they need to order. And I got out of the car, and my seat blatantly worked. It's not worked since Sunday, and I've tried it, and I've fucked about with it, and I've tried it. And I got to Land Rover and I was like, my seat's not working, what's wrong with it? I said, when I press the button on the back, it's not inclining. And then I can't push it forward. And I pressed the button and it all moved and my seat moved and everything was perfect. And I was like, fuck's sake. But the seatbelt buckle still is fucked. So they've ordered that. It's got to go back in Tuesday and they're going to replace that. And they said there's 5 or 6 software updates for it as well.
So basically this fucking Land Rover yours were made in France because it's that fucked with electrical front.
I've not had no problems since I've had it. It's the longest I've had the car back in my possession as well since I had the car. So.
Okay, man. So what have you had for tea?
Nothing. We had dinner at Nando's earlier on. And I've just got some Jaffa.
Dinner at Nando's about 5 o'clock.
No, she said we had dinner at Nando's about 5 o'clock, but actually we had late breakfast at 5 o'clock.
What did you have at Nando's? What's your go-to at Nando's?
Fucking chicken, you mad geezer. The first time I went there, first time I went there was with Tasha about 10 years ago, and she gave me the menu. And she's like, "What are you having?" And I says, "I guess I'm having fucking chicken." Fuck all else here to have. Where's the steak menu? Actually, I'm quite partial to Nando's now. We normally have like the platter, so we have a full chicken and some rice and chips and coleslaw, and it was nice. I enjoyed it.
I love them. But I'm weird though, because I'll go for full chicken. I like it medium. Then I'll put a load of medium sauce on it. Then I get me chips and I put a load of that salad dressing sauce all over it. I get spicy rice, corn. You know, I go the full shebang, me. I mean, like, you got it medium, why are you putting more sauce on? I'm like,
I mean, that medium sauce is quite hot, isn't it?
Which, the medium?
Yeah. Well, it is for me.
I like it.
I like it. I really like it, but it's quite spicy and just hot enough that you can enjoy it. Brown sauce makes my nose run, mate. So, like, you have to understand, medium Nando's sauce is hot for me. I'm a fucking proper white boy when it comes to shit like that. Fucking Sinead, she's like, I'll have a half chicken, can I have it hot? I was like, what are you on about hot, you mad woman? And she fucking ate it, she boxed it all off. Yeah, and then I've had chicken wings, and when that comes, she was like, Dad, is there a bone inside these? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh. Like, she just couldn't get her head around breaking it open and fucking finding the meat, and I had to order a fucking chicken breast.
Bless her. I am partial to a good Nando's. But when I took my mum once, right? I'm not joking. She doesn't even put salt and pepper on a chicken, so that's not even seasoned. It's like bland. Right?
proper old school white mum.
Proper white mum. So I'm sat there and I'm like, Mum, what do you want from Nando's? She's like, just get me sort of like just a chicken breast. I'm like, I goes, all right, I'll get it with lemon and herb. My God, the woman must have had extreme hot fucking food. She was running around the fucking thing like, fucking hell, this is like it's lemon and herb, man. What you on about? Proper white mum, like no salt, pepper, no nothing. You know what I mean? Straight up bland chicken.
Just flying then. That's what I brought.
Running around like madness of the fucking lime and herb. I was like, what is going on here, mum? Oh, you know me, I don't like my spices. It sets me off.
is that northern? It gives me the shit.
I swear to God, I think I'm the only person that has to go up there and go, can I have white chicken, please?
Mate, the first time I ever seen like a regular thing of where people take their scraps home was in Nando's. And like black people love boxing up that fucking carcass, you know, making this fucking Tasha said it's Saturday soup, where all the shit all the shit from the week goes in a pot and they make some fucking naughty shit with it. And I know, like, the first time I went to Nando's, like, for probably actually, I bet for the first 2 or 3 years, maybe even 4 years, I had like a chicken burger. I had the pita bread with the breasty.
Yeah.
And then after I'd been dipping a blackbird for about 4 years, I felt experienced enough to be able to pick my way through a chicken. So, so we had a full chicken, and actually, I do proper enjoy. I don't particularly enjoy picking the meat off the bone, actually, but I do enjoy chicken off the bone. But even when I finish with it, I know there's black people looking at me going, the fucking best bit of the chicken's still left on there, you mad geezer. You know what the fuck you doing? I know they want my scraps in their fucking junk box. Do you know what I mean? When they're fuck off home. But no, I do enjoy Nando's.
Oh, that Saturday soup, Tash should know about the Saturday soup. One of my exes, right? This is not even a joke. One of my exes, right? Her dad made Saturday soup like that, right? And I think it's the only soup I've ever tried with oxtail, where it was just oxtail bone, no meat, no nothing, just literally bones of oxtail.
Mate, they eat oxtail as a main, right? And it's like there's fuck all to it.
Bone, it's just fucking bone. It's like chewing on marrow, like a dad. My ex's dad, like on marrow.
What, pig's feet? What the fucking hell can you get off a pig's foot? And you go another foot up from the foot, mate. You're on that nice bit of fucking pig that makes bacon, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing pissing about with the foot, you mad cunt?
Chicken feet and everything.
Chicken lips.
Chicken lips.
Yeah, they do chicken. Well, they boil the chicken feet, don't they, in the stock?
Yeah, chicken feet and
flavour. I'm like, what flavour are you getting out of chicken's foot apart from chicken shit? They're just treading their own shit. Fuck, man.
Tash, get some chicken foot in your soup next Saturday.
She had fish in the house before with its eyes in. I was like, where the fuck's the batter and why is the head still on it? The fuck, man? It's
all right. You want to add black food before you get rice when Scotch bonnets burst and they purposely left a Scotch bonnet in the bottom.
Yeah, I remember saying when I was a youth, like I'm talking before I was even in like senior school. So, like from the age of 5 up till 11, my best pal was black, and I used to go and stop at his house, and they used to have like fried saltfish and rice and fucking dumplings and beans and whatever for breakfast. And actually, I really, really enjoyed it. And when I got with Tasha, I was on about the saltfish, and she was like, "Oh, ackee and saltfish." So Simone had got some one day, and she made it. But it was, I don't like ackee. And I was like, "Nah, that's not what I had." And then I realised actually it was like pan-fried saltfish.
Yeah.
And it was really nice.
you have it with plantain?
And then I learned how to make dumplings myself because Tasha, she can be a black woman. She can shake her ass like a blackbird, mate. She can't cook a dumpling with shit.
Not tight, all right.
So I sussed out how to make dumplings. And actually, if ever the business goes tits up, mate, you could live on rice and dumplings. You only need 3 dumplings and you're done for about 19 hours.
Telling you.
That's what we used to eat.
Sweet gravy, though. You've got to have sweet gravy with your dumplings.
No, just beans, mate. Beans and some black pepper.
No, you got to have sweet gravy. If you've not had sweet gravy and dumplings, it's the one. But for breakfast, bacon, sausage, egg, tomato, plantain. You've got to have fried plantain.
Yeah.
Fried plantain.
What rasta would have bacon and plantain, you mad geezer?
Yeah, no, I'm on about a mixed race house over here, me. What are you talking?
Oh, just a full English with dumplings. It's like plantain.
No, plantain, dumplings, and beans. That's the one. Butter and black pepper in your beans.
Butter and black pepper in your beans.
I'm not about that plantain, Lord.
You don't like plantain?
Nah.
You don't? Have you tried fried plantain?
That's why these fucking black geezers, when they're 23, can afford BMWs. It only costs them about £6 a month to eat.
Fried spam.
Fried fucking spam.
Hard times. No much hard times liquid. Hard times bacon.
I can remember having spam out of the tin, but we never fried it as a main meal.
Fried it. Some eggs.
Spam. Spam as a main meal.
You ever fried spam, Tom?
You what?
You ever had a tin of spam and sliced it and fried it?
Yeah, that's a proper white thing, that though.
Yeah,
I've never had. It's not, mate.
That's spam fritters. That's spam fritters.
Or fried cheese. That's a white thing.
Spam fritters. Getting spam and frying it is spam fritters.
Yeah, I know, but that's tramps food, mate. I'm
No, that's poverty
food.
It
must be a black thing and a northern thing. That must be.
It's poverty line food. Is that telling you? Spam, beans, and chips. That's poverty line.
Also, real white thing. Frying.
Have you ever fried cheese?
You what?
You ever fried cheese?
Fried cheese?
Yeah.
I've only ever seen that on posh stuff. I've never tried fried cheese myself.
No, get your cheese right and you get your pan. You don't need to put any oil in it because obviously the cheese is full of fucking fat big time. And then basically slice it into the pan, roughly the size of a slice of bread, and then fucking fry it, and then it melts and it melts. And you basically drop your bread on, put your spatula underneath, and it all comes out on the bread, and it's crispy as fuck, and it's fire, man.
That sounds like heart attack right there.
Yeah, obviously, it's a proper Harrison snack. That is, it's like a snack that used to get made while you were waiting for dinner to get cooked. And then we're all sat around when we're teenagers going, I don't understand why we're fat, man. We don't even eat that much. 19,000 calorie fried cheese sandwiches, and it's like fucking that'll be our problem right there.
Was it crispy? Was like the cheese like crispy?
Yeah, you can obviously do it different ways. I like if I have cheese on toast, I cremate the fuck out of it because I like crispy cheese on there. But the fried cheese, it can be crispy, but it's still soft underneath. You know, it depends how much cheese you put in there. To be fair, if you only put a thin layer, it obviously burns through. But if you get like enough that would give a normal person heartburn for a month, then you can have crispy one side and it's still sort of soft the other side.
By throwing it up in the middle.
Brown sauce, fucking fire, mate. It's nearly as good as eggy dips. I remember talking to some of my pals are Arab, and I was at my mate's uni, and there was like me and like 20 Arabs in there. And out of the 20, I'd say 10 of them were like English Arabs, like born in England, and 10 of them were, I wouldn't say illegals, that's not the right word, but sort of maybe they'd come over to visit and actually, like, English weren't their first language, although they could I could converse with them using pidgin English and whatever. Yeah. And we were talking about food, and I was on about eggy dips, and they all looked at me fucking gone out. And I was like, eggy dips, you must have had that, man. You lot of tramps back home. You've got to have cracked an egg and fucking whisk it up, dip your bread in it, put it in the frying pan. Yeah. And every one of them all at the same time went, oh, eggy bread. I was like, yeah, fucking eggy bread, mate. See, it's a worldwide thing, eggy bread is, mate. But me and my pal were talking years ago saying if you had a van outside a pub with 10 frying pans on it, because I mean, eggy bread, once you get the temperature of the pan right, mate, snap them out fast. fucking 2 slices for £1, you'd fucking clean up. Now, anyone coming out the pub after more than 3 points would want eggy bread. It's a proper have something to eat when you've had a fucking drink food, that is.
Eggy bread and beans.
Just now, I don't like eggy. I just like eggy bread and brown sauce. If you start adding beans to it, you sort of turn it into a meal, and it's not a meal; it's a snack. It's just something you eat late at night. Eggy bread for me is when you're stopping in the caravan in Great Yarmouth and the kids go, I'm hungry. What can we have? Eggy bread. It's like a proper holiday food. It's just like, oh, late night, had a few beers food.
Poverty line food.
It's like proper war food, isn't it? It's like
proper poverty. Working man's fucking dinner. When you got home, there's fuck all in house.
Honest, there's obviously 5 kids, my mum and my dad. And even though we didn't have much, I say we didn't have much, you know. Actually, I look back at some of my pals who were like tramps, actually. And but my dad had never ever given me money to go out. So if we all went out, we went ice skating, and it was £5 to go ice skating. I got £5. I didn't get like £6 so I could have a cone of chips. I got a £5, and I didn't need the cone of chips because I'd already had my meal before I left. And when I got in at 11 o'clock, the chances are he was either frying cheese or eggy bread. So there was always a meal to be had. We always had proper food. We always had Kellogg's cornflakes and Heinz beans and Daddy's sauce. And he always had proper bread. He'd never buy cheap bread and cheap meat and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I suppose from that point, we always ate well. Hence, we're all fat cunts. But I don't know, man. When you start like if my mum had give my dad fucking spam fritters, our mum had got a fucking fritter around the ear off me dad after 12 hours. But we never ate pizza because my dad didn't like pizza because he was a bit like fucking Italian food in this case. But you know what I mean? Like, I can remember my brother when I was probably about 13. So my other brother, like Craig, would have been about 16, 17. Ordering a Domino, well, it was a perfect pizza. It was before Domino's and all that. It was called Perfect Pizza. First pizza shop I ever knew in Birmingham. And having it delivered to the house. And he ate the pizza, and the other 4 of us fought over the crusts. It's like, and I was like, oh, leave the crust, man, with a bit of pizza on it, you prick. And then there was like this mass debate in the house about fucking pineapple on a pizza. What's going on there? And our dad going, fucking garlic bread. It was like, fucking mad. But like, yeah, we'd have we'd eat, say like on anniversaries and birthdays and that, we'd go to like a steak. Like there used to be the Bernie Inn by us, and they'd do a steak. And I can remember him paying like, even back then, like, you know, 30, 35 years ago, for all of us to go out for a meal, and that it'd been like £100. And actually, we can go out now to Miller and Carter for £100. You know what I mean? It was a lot of money then, really. But we did always eat well. But like, there was a line of what was food that we should be eating because it was good value for money, and tramp food, and we just didn't have. Like, I can remember going to my mate's house, mate, and his dinner was a faggot sandwich, and he put salad cream on it. And I was like, what? And he was like, no, man, salad cream on everything, mate. And I was like, you can't have salad cream can only be used on salad, mate. Nah, fucking putting fucking salad cream on his faggot sandwich like he was putting fucking toffee sauce on a big ice cream, man. I was like, what the fucking hell is all that about? And I remember like, our mum buying pot noodles when they were fucking first a thing back in, I suppose that was early 80s, maybe even late 70s. And my old man being like absolutely in the horrors that this fucking boiling water was expected to cook the meal inside the pot, and he was a bit like, I hope I ain't got a fucking pot noodle for dinner. We were all loving it, like it was just new and different and like hydrated food. That sounds healthy. We'll have some of that. But then we were sat eating pot noodle family because like we were a proper fucking bread family. We'd go through like 3-4 loaves of bread every single day and fucking 20 pints of milk, and it was just mad. Crazy.
What about free Banter's pies?
You know what, my old man, we used to have fried bent. Like, I really like a pie, but my old man didn't like pies. Like, my old man wouldn't eat fucking even shepherd's pie. because he's like, actually, buy a piece of beef, and instead of mashing the potato up and putting it on top of minced meat, put the beef on my plate next to the potatoes, the Yorkshire puddings, the roast potatoes, and the veg. Put some gravy on it, and then I'll have that as a dinner. You can't start combining a whole meal into one baking utensil. Because, like, what do you have with shepherd's pie? Peas and gravy, is that it?
Shepherd's pie it's usually like peas, carrots, then mince in it. Then it depends on shepherd's and cottage pies. One's lamb,
one's lamb and one's beef.
Yeah, and it's literally just carrots and peas. Carrots, peas.
What I'm saying is, if you made a shepherd's pie or a cottage pie, in essence, they're the same thing, but one's lamb and one's beef. So then you dish that out of the bowl straight onto the plate, and that's your meal in one bit of gravy over the lot of it, and that's it. You're good to go.
Yeah. Abby usually does like a side of veg as well.
Married to a bloke from Yorkshire, and she phoned him up one day and says, "Do you want some cheese and potato pie?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'll have some of that. So that sounds nice. I'll have some cheese and potato pie when I come in from work." So obviously he got in from work, and what he got was some mashed potato with some cheese in it and some beans. And he looked at my sister like she was sat there with a fucking dildo up her arsehole and says, "Where's fucking pie?" there's no crust on this pie. And he was fucking most put out that all he had on his plate was cheese and potato mashed and half a tin of beans. Yeah, fucking been to work all day and fucking no meat on plate. What the fuck's going on? So,
I won't lie. I can't eat a meal unless it has meat on it. I couldn't eat like just mashed potato and beans. It'd have to have some.
Actually, I don't like cheese and potato pie because actually I only like melted cheese. I like cheese on toast and I like fried cheese. If I have a baked potato, I actually prefer it. If I have a baked potato out and the potatoes are warm but they're not baking hot, and then they put the grated cheese on and it stays as grated cheese. Like when Tasha does baked potatoes at home, I like my baked potatoes fucking absolutely crucified so the shells are crispy as fuck.
Yeah.
But then when you put the melted cheese, when you put the cheese on, it melts into it. I don't actually like that. So I don't like cheese and potato pie because I don't like melted cheese and shit.
What about cheesy chips? You don't like cheesy chips?
I don't like cheese. No, I don't like cheese. I don't get having anything other than salt and vinegar on your chips. What people who have gravy.
Chips, I don't like melted cheese like that, so I just leave it as it is grated cheese.
I don't know.
I can't eat it melted like that.
I don't get why people have like gravy on chips.
Depends what you're having with it. I do like them sort of just salt and vinegar, but I'm not a massive vinegar fan either.
So I like them so like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you take a chip and breathe in fast at the same time and you choke, that's when I know I've got enough vinegar on my chips. That is.
Just straight like this with vinegar, I'm telling you. I don't like too much vinegar. Salt, yeah. Vinegar, not too much.
Well, I've gone into cheap shops and then I go, "Can I have plenty of salt and vinegar on that?" And they go, put it down. I'm like, "No, can I have more, please?" And they go, and I'm like, "Look, can I have the fucking condiments myself? I'll put it on my fucking plate." So brown, and then like that, what they do, every chip shop in the world puts the salt on first and then washes the fucking salt off with the vinegar. And I'm like, "No, put the vinegar on first and the salt sticks to the fucking vinegar, you stupid cunt." So like, I'll literally then, like, they've got them plastic, you know, like the squeezy vinegar, like the proper ones. They're like fucking shaky. I'm like squeezing it. And then fucking talking to her about how the week's been while I'm salting my chips up. And everyone in the chip shop stood looking at me with their mouth open going, "Mate, you're fucking 25 stone. You should never, ever be putting that much salt on your chips, you mad cunt." Look, now you need proper amount. And then I like chips from the chippy. I like, not necessarily out the bag, but I like them when they're not fucking raking hot. So actually, I like to go to the chip shop and get my chips, and then when I get home, sometimes if you're out and about and you eat them from the chippy, fucking fresh and they're boiling up. I don't like them as much as I do when they're a bit colder. I don't like home cooked chips either.
You know,
fucking milk on there, I said.
No, I mean,
right? Yeah.
I wouldn't say I don't like home cooked chips.
You eat them?
I'll eat them, and sometimes I actually properly enjoy them. But it's something I never ever think. Like I really like just egg and chips. Proper. That's proper war food right there.
Runny eggs though.
4 pounds of spuds and a fucking half dozen eggs, and everyone's fed. Loaf of bread. Jobs are good. And actually really like egg and chips. But if Tash says to me, "Do you want egg and chips?" I'll be like, "Nah." But if she shouted me in and says your dinner's done, and I went in, it's egg and chips, I sit and eat it, and I'd enjoy it. But there's some foods that I literally never like the thought of. But actually, I'd sit and eat it and enjoy it if it was presented to me. Like she'll phone. I've spoke to Tash, mate, some days at 11 o'clock, and she'll go, "What do you fancy for dinner?" And I'm like, "I ain't even had my breakfast yet. I ain't got a clue. Don't know what I fancy." She's like, "Oh, well, is that supposed to help me?" And I'm like, "It's 11 o'clock. I don't know."
My dad used to do that
from day one. Whatever you make, I'll sit and eat it. And there's things like I've ate with Tasha that I've never tried before. Because before I'd be like, I'll just get something from the Chinese or chippy or whatever. They're actually
what my dad used to do.
I'd never ate broccoli in my life until I got with Tash. Because I always
got bums, man. Broccoli. Broccoli. You should always make your woman eat broccoli. It's good for her ass. They've got proper broccoli bums. Proper broccoli bums. You've never heard that saying before?
No.
Yeah. If women eat broccoli and they've got a good backside, it's because of broccoli. That's
some broccoli.
No, but it sounds like my dad. My dad used to say to my mum when he used to go to work, my dad would walk out the door at 6:30 in the morning and he'd turn down and
just said to me, "Mum, this good, you cheeky cunt."
No, you made me remind myself of my dad, because my dad used to go and he'd go off to work at like 5:30 in the morning. Mum come down, lock up. And my mum, he used to say to my mum, every time he walked to that house, he'd go, "Don't make me any tea, I'm not hungry." It's fucking 6:30 in the fucking morning.
My old man literally would walk in the house anytime between 4:30 and 7 o'clock at night, depending on what he was doing. And if my mum hadn't presented him his tea piping hot within about 45 seconds of him taking his shoes off, he'd have his arse in his hands. And I'd be like, "How the fuck's she supposed to do that?" Do you know what I mean? And then if she had something in the oven baking up, he'd come in and go, "I ain't eating that shit." He wouldn't eat nothing out the microwave. And I was like, "How the fuck do you do that? Then how do you know?" And like we're talking back in the day, mate, when my old man used to have a pager before even a mobile phone. But you couldn't like page him and go, "What time are you coming home?" Because he couldn't page back. All you could do was send a message. So our mum would send him a message saying phone the office or whatever, which was like pre-programmed into that pager, so he knew to phone the house in case more work had come in or whatever. But he'd never ever phone up and go, "Right, love, I'm just leaving wherever. I'll be home in an hour." He just the lights had come on the drive, and she had from that point in taking his shoes off to make her dinner. It's like, I don't even, and she like pretty much was quite successful at it. Like she'd obviously the dinner would be on and it'd all be down low and fucking the minute he come in, then bam, fucking dinner was prepared. And we'd always just have I was saying this to Tash the other day, because we had a school dinner. We only ever had a sandwich when we come in from work. We didn't have a meal. So like in the week, if we'd had a school dinner, we'd have a sandwich, or we might have fucking sausage, chips and beans, or because there weren't even such things then as chicken nuggets really. There was like you could buy, but there weren't like all the processed shit that you can buy now. There weren't like fucking even pizza. I can remember pizza becoming a thing before it was a thing. You know what I mean? It was like we never had frozen pizzas in the freezer. But I always thought broccoli would be. The only vegetable I ever liked was cauliflower, and I liked swede and carrots. But you need more swede than carrots. So there's more carrot than swede. I can't eat it because actually I don't really like carrots at all. They're quite fucking harsh for me. And I like processed peas. I don't like garden peas or runner beans or anything like that.
I like garden peas.
Nah, so I only like processed marrow fat peas. And I always imagine that I always ate cauliflower, but I always imagine broccoli would be quite cabbagey, strong taste. Naturally, it tastes pretty much like cauliflower, but it's green and not fucking white. So the first time I ate it, she made it for me, and I was like, "Fuck, you know, what the fuck did she put on my plate, man?" I ate it and I was like, actually, it is literally very cauliflowery. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I've definitely ate better things in the like I've ate more different things in the last 10 years than I've ever ate in my fucking life before.
Yeah, because at points when you're kids, it's like autopilot. Mums are like autopilots, like you're having that, and that's you're fucking having it, like the same shit for the same 5 days.
Mate, I was saying to Tasha, we was on about this whole like when I come in from school, we used to have a sandwich, and actually like we'd be fucking getting from school, we'd have to get our uniforms off straight away and fold them up and put them at the bottom of the bed, and either get our pajamas on or get our like if it was winter and we weren't going out, we'd put our pajamas on, and then we'd have a sandwich, and probably for 8 years straight, I had cheese and brown sauce sandwiches every night. That's what I had. And then on a Friday night, my old man would always make a curry that we'd have late. So we might have a sandwich when we got in from school. And then our old man would get in from work and he'd always make a curry. Because my dad actually was a really, really good cook.
Like 8, 9 o'clock, you'd be eating your curries.
Well, maybe 10 o'clock on a Friday. Because I can, like, I'd be falling asleep. And I can remember, do you remember OTT with Lenny Henry?
Probably, if I haven't seen
You
it.
probably don't actually. I bet you're too young. That would have been like early 80s anyway. So like probably before your time. But I remember that being on at 10 o'clock and I'd be fucking falling asleep, but I could smell this curry and I'd be like, I need food, man. Fucking, I'd eat the curry and then I'd fucking fuck off up to bed. And we've had a 45-minute chat about fucking tramp food and
It's all right because everyone in the chat's currently talking about food as well, which is fucking mint. So, who just mentioned? John Paul Gil Barron just said battered Jaffa cakes.
So I don't get why that would even be a thing, mate.
What?
Battered Jaffa cakes.
Battered Mars bars. You've never
See,
had that,
Tasha's had battered Mars bars. But I'm like, seriously, leave my Mars bar alone. Let me eat it after I've ate my fucking fish and chips.
You would love
Don't
that.
touch my bar.
I don't even love batter. You do.
I just don't. I don't know. It's not.
Battered banana and ice cream fritters. I've never tried ice cream fritters.
I know Tash, like Chinese, Tash will have fritters and stuff like that, but banana fritters at the Chinese, or just battered sausage, bunch of weirdos. Chocolate was not made to be battered. See, Jack knows, man.
Battered Mars bars.
Battered kebabs are the worst. Like, how the fuck you batter a kebab? I've seen some birds kebabs that look battered, but I've never seen a fucking battered kebab.
Oh,
I honestly don't get what the first bloke says. Scott's mum, weren't he? Pass us the Mars bar, love. I'm going to batter it.
But the batter pizza and everything in Scotland. Battered pizza. Who the fuck wants to eat a battered pizza?
Yeah, I can only assume that they dropped it in the batter mix by accident one day, and he's gone, I'm not fucking wasting that. Fucking drop it in the fryer. Johnny, come and get your Mars bar. What the fuck have you done to my Mars bar? Just fucking eat it. And then that's mint, that is. Battered pizza.
Oh, cauliflower cheese. I do like cauliflower cheese.
I don't like cauliflower cheese because I only like cauliflower with the cooked dinner and I don't like cheese like that. So
it's more cheese sauce than actual cheese, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I like the cheese sauce that you have with nachos.
Yeah.
That's the only melted cheese that I like. And really, that's only like a thick cheese sauce. It's not like melted cheese. But like when I see these videos, you know, like all these food videos that come up in your timeline, and they're scraping blocks of fucking melted cheese onto steak and that. It literally gives me heartburn looking at the video. I have to go and drink some Gaviscon if I see one of them videos. Like literally instant heartburn, mate. And you see all these people going, "Oh, I'm going to try that. I need to try that." And I'm like, "You're never going to try it."
I've seen it, just literally like half a fucking cheese.
Like that, and burger with 97 burgers on it, and then melt the cheese all over it, and everyone's going, "Oh, fucking hell, that looks lovely." And I'm like, "Don't. It looks like fucking tramp food, man."
Oh, liver casserole. Liver casserole.
Liver's wrong, man.
Oh, disgusting.
Battered mac and cheese. So I don't like mac and cheese.
Battered mac and cheese?
Yeah.
How do you batter that?
I don't know.
Well, we'll get a Mars bar because it's whole mac and cheese is a whole load of
mess.
You know what I mean? Scotland's a funny place. Did they get their independence? Fucking hell.
That's a Jaffa cakes. That's just fucking wrong. When I used to live in Brownells, my tea always was mixed kebab with curry. And mate, when I moved in with Tasha in Tiverdale, not even Tiverdale, was it? It weren't Tiverdale, Langley, which is probably about 2 or 3 miles from where we live now. I went to the chip shop one night, and they'd done. Now, look, where I lived, where I grew up, it was quite posh back in the not posh. Well, it was. Well, it weren't posh. It was actually. It was a nice, decent council area as opposed to like a posh private estate.
Yeah.
And then over the years, to be fair, all the tramps from the outskirts of where I used to live, they've aspired to move into that area and dragged it down. It's like the fucking arsehole of the world now. It's fucking horrible. But I went into the Langley chip shop and they'd done fucking scallop burgers. Scallop burgers. So this is a piece of bread with a scallop on it, salad and everything, like you've got a proper burger in there, mayonnaise and another bit of bread. And I was like, who the fuck eats fucking scallop burgers, man?
That is fucking
How
gammy.
bad are your benefits that you can't even say, can I have a cheeseburger and chips, mate? You've got to have a scallop burger. It was about fucking 40 pence cheaper. And I was like, fuck's sake, that's grim, that is.
It's like scallop, just basically fucking potato.
Yeah, I mean, basically what you've got is a battered chip sandwich is what you've fucking got. Dressed up as a scallop burger. I was like, what the fuck? But I do like the black country chips. They do like orange chips where they're
The orange chips.
The orange chips. The beef dripping and that, and they are fire. But not many places do them like now. They're not the. Or you go in places that claim to do them, and they're just not the same as what they used to be back in the day. And I think it's probably because I bet each one of them would probably decrease your life by about 2 or 3 years per bag. Just shocking. Raw black pudding. I do actually, as I've got, my old man always used to eat raw black pudding. So like he'd always fry it with a fry up. But I can always remember him having a cheeky slice and eating it. And I was like, oh, but see, I like raw black pudding, but I'd have to pick the bits of fat out of it.
Yeah, you see the white bit.
And if I fry black pudding, I have to fry it so it's fucking cremated. So fuck. Liver, definitely no. Scallop, I like a scallop on its own. Don't get me wrong. I like battered mushrooms. I don't like mushrooms. Mushrooms is just like fungus that's grew on the back of the shithouse door. Why people decided to ever pick and eat it, I'll never understand. Lobster and crab is nice. I'm not really into seafood. Battered chips, Russell. Our local chippy tried to do some battered chips, but they weren't very successful, to be honest. And haggis, he's just like, I don't even understand how anyone could put haggis in their fucking gob.
I've never tried haggis. Never, ever. Oh, actually, I had some lying. I've tried it once. It's just like mince.
Mate, it's like, isn't it like all the scraps off the floor?
It's basically just like mince and stuff.
I'm sure like
not actually that bad.
It's like the heart and the liver and the fucking all the bits of shit in it. Again,
it's not that bad.
Probably the same Scotsman who dropped the Mars bar in the fly by accident was like, we're not wasting that shit off the floor. We'll call it haggis. Haggis is national dish.
It's just like, for me to describe it, it's like mince, but it's got a little bit of spice to it. That's all I can say.
I mean, I'd imagine. Have you ever tried proper Irish white pudding?
No.
Fire, mate. It's fire, but I don't know what's in it, and I've never asked because I didn't want to ruin it for myself. But white pudding is nice, and I'd imagine haggis is probably similar.
Yeah, definitely. Right, we better get into some fucking vaping, aren't we? We've been 51 minutes into talking about food. It's ending up like fucking food reunion. This week on Endless Cookery.
Yeah. Endless heart attacks, man. Throw your cheese up, lad.
It's all right. We're going to request Paul be in the kitchen next week and cook us up.
I might start my own YouTube channel, just
cooking
shit. These people who go, I just can't put any weight on. Follow my fucking channel, mate. You'll be about fucking 26 stone by Christmas. No matter what I eat, I just can't.
Do a channel. It could be just old school foods. like proper old school food. Remember when you were a kid, you go home and here's your cheese sandwich. This is how you make it.
Our mom used to cut the cheese with a fucking Stanley knife in it. Fucking hold it up to the light to see through it. Like on there's your sandwich. Really, what I had was a brown sauce sandwich with fucking slithers of cheese on there. That's why. Now, I mean, actually, when I was young, cheese was cheap. Like cheese, even cheese sandwiches was a bit of a tramp's food. Like we'd never have ham or football in the house. And now cheese, I can remember at some point in my sort of teenage years, one day my old man fucking kicking off about the price of cheese. Fucking how much? You fucking couldn't carry that much cheese when I was a fucking kid. Fucking put that back. Sandwiches, get some fucking ham.
Fucking hell. Right, let's talk some vape. You go make your cheese sandwich, we'll talk about it. Tash deprived you of letting you having your tea at 5 o'clock. It's fucking nearly 9 o'clock. He needs his cheese sandwich or a curry, Tash. Sorry.
Frying in the kitchen.
Right, so we've got loads on. We are going to be doing the giveaway later on, guys. So if you do want to share it on Facebook, share over to Facebook. We'll be doing a giveaway for Manchester Vape lifestyle tickets later on. But the first topic I want to get into, we did discuss a little bit earlier, was the VMAs. So the VMAs is, oh, Paul's left me. He's gone. He's gone. He's left me. He's back.
I just refreshed because someone said I was echoing.
Oh, no worries. So we're talking about the VMAs. So the VMAs is obviously the musical awards on MTV, and there was I don't know whether it was an advert or there was just something on the actual show in between adverts, but there was actually a sign. I can't find it for the love or money. I saved it and now I can't find it. And it basically said vaping is 4 times likely to start you smoking than anything else out there. Paul, what's your opinions on that? Do you think vaping's going to? Do you think vaping is 4 times more likely to start somebody smoking?
I've got mixed opinion actually. I'm not sure. I think I've said this before that I think that people that would be inclined to smoke would also be inclined to vape for the same reasons. I think vaping is cooler than smoking from a teenager's point of view. I think that but then I also think that once you've vaped and if you started off on 0 milligram and you've been vaping blueberry muffin with a splash of jam and cream, you might get into the habit of smoking your vape. And I'm using the word smoking as just using the device as a replacement for not using cigarettes because you consider it cooler than smoking tobacco. I find it hard to think how many people would then take a cigarette and go, oh, that's fucking way nicer than that fucking banoffee pie I've been vaping. But I do think the whole thing, I mean, I'm talking as an ex-smoker, so I don't know. I know that when I vaped the first time round, which is going back 8 years now, Neela, and I've done 11 months and I stopped and I started smoking full time again. I used to smoke 40 fags a day. After I'd vaped for 11 months, I smoked 60 fags a day because I was in that habit of just having my vape in my hand non-stop. If I give up now, I'd probably smoke about 250 fags a day because I vape way more now than I ever did then. So I don't know whether it's a gateway to smoking. I would think it's probably a gateway to trying cigarettes actually. But then I do find it hard to believe that most people would then say, fuck this vape, I much prefer this nasty tobacco taste.
That's exactly my point. It's very much sort of putting it out to a demographic that really doesn't need to know about it, if you know what I mean. Like, you're putting it out to people. This is a music award. Why are you telling them about fucking vaping makes smoking? You want to smoke more? It just doesn't make sense why the advert would be there. I know Mac has just said his company's called Truth, who put the advert out there. Obviously, they're trying to, whether they've got an agenda. Maybe it sounds like an agenda to me that they're putting it out there when all this positive stuff's going about vaping and whatnot at the minute, especially in the UK. it's definitely seemed there was an agenda there to put it, because let's be honest, it's a VMAs, it's the biggest music awards apart from the Grammys. But
no, but I mean the VMAs will be more mainstream to a more mainstream person than the Grammys. I'd never sit and watch the Grammys, to be honest. I would sit and watch the VMAs.
That's what I mean. So you're sort of putting it out there to general public, aren't you? Putting that fact out to general public. And you, to me personally, people who have sort of blind eyed to it.
Macca's just put Truth, the company is funded by Big Tobacco. So that makes sense. Ironic that they're called Truth when they're spouting such shit. But that said, I'd imagine they've done some sort of study on it. But I don't know how. Like the way I look at it is right. Is back in my day, I started smoking. The first fag that I ever smoked, apart from my mum caught me smoking a nub when I was about 4. Like literally, I was just younger than what my girls are now. My mum come in the living room one day and I've straightened the nub up and that got it fucking going in the living room. And then when my dad coming from work, she told my dad, and my dad sat and made me smoke a whole fag. And I'm like, fucking finished that one off, and I'm going to bed now. I feel a bit shit after that. But then I was probably about, I would say 12, when I actually pinched the fag out of my mum's box. And then I walked up to the youth club smoking it. And then I met my cousin, who's the one who now runs the factory for me. And I hadn't seen him for a few years. We used to knock about together a lot when we were younger. Then I never seen him for a couple of years. And he was like, "Oh, we're going to the youth club tonight. Do you want to come?" And then walk into the youth club. He said to me, he pulled about a box of fags out and he was like, "Oh, do you want one?" I was like, yeah, man. I've been smoking quite a while now. I've never had a fag in my life, mate. And I remember like smoking this fag and choking on it bad. And not like I've never ever once smoked a cigarette, even at that age, and gone. And you know, like some people tend to smoke.
Yeah.
I'd still inhale it and that, and I'd be choking and coughing. I was like, "Fucking hell, man! It's going to take quite a few of them to get used to doing this shit." Fucking went home practicing, mate, so I weren't coughing and that. Fucking got about 14 in my first session. And like literally, from a young kid, mate, I was always a heavy smoker. Like people at school would have like one fag and they'd have like 6 drags at break time, put it out, put it back in their blazer pocket, pull it back out at dinner time. I'd be like 3 at break time, 6 at fucking dinner time, 2 at afternoon break, 2 before I got on the bus, 2 when I got off the fucking bus. Like smoking 10 a day, and then like from teenager, like 16 plus, when I could smoke in front of my mum and dad, I'd easily do 20 to 30 fags a day then, which was a lot. Like that's going back fucking, I don't know, 30 years or 25 years or whatever.
And they were like £2 a packet.
Yeah, I can remember 10 Benson being 50, less than, just over 50 pence, about 56p, because I can remember 20 Benson being 97 pence. And it was like always cheaper to buy 20 than it was to buy 10.
Mine were 10. I remember 10 Lambert and Butler were 1.95. That's the lowest I remember.
Well, I can remember saying when they get to £2, fuck that, I ain't smoking. Do you know what I mean? Then saying, "Oh, they've gone up to 2.50 in the budget. Fuck that." When they get to 3, I'm just knocking that on the head. But like they used to go like, I can remember them going from, like I can remember going to the shop and buying fags from my mum and dad when 20 fags was like 60 odd pence, and I'd have a note saying, "Dear Mr. fucking Packy shopkeeper," because that's what he was called then. Can you give 20 Benson to Paul Harrison? It's Paul's mum. And I'd take these notes up the shop. And he wouldn't even ask me for the note. He'd just sell me 20 fags, you know what I mean? Didn't give a fuck. And they were like 60 odd p. And then I can remember the budget had come out and they go, "Fucking fags have gone up to 69 pence, man. They're fucking taking the piss." And then they went up to 72 pence and 80 pence and whatever. But then when I started smoke, like it's probably more late teens, early 20s was when they started snowballing. Like they jumped from 2.50 a pack to 3.40 a pack, which was, I was only earning fucking, when I was 19, I was earning £2.16 an hour or something. So to put fucking £1 on a packet of fags,
A lot of money.
I was smoking 2 packs a day. I had to work. My first hour was just covering the rise of the fucking cigarettes every day at work. Do you know what I mean? And then like they went up from 2.50 to fucking 3.25, 3.25 to £4. And people being outraged, saying when these get to £5, fuck that, man, I'm giving up. I'm not smoking when they get to a £5. And when me and Tasha were smoking before I started vaping the first time, it was about £6 a pack, weren't it? £6.50 maybe.
Fucking hell.
And that was like then we were smoking silk now, because if we smoked silk, they were always a bit more expensive. But when I was balling, if I'd done a good foreigner at work, I'd buy silk cut. But like now, mate, I've seen Benson in service stations for £13 and £14. 20 fags, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's fucking shocking.
95% of that's tax, man.
But I'm sure I'm sure £9 the cheapest that can sell any 20 cigarettes for, isn't it?
Is it really?
Well, if you Google it quickly, I'm pretty sure when the TPD come out, obviously, although the TPD had a big impact on us, there was new directive in there for actual tobacco products, that what the whole fucking directive was about. And I'm sure at that time it was not £8 something. And at the last budget, every shop I've been into where I've seen fags, the cheapest fag they sell is £9 dead. And I'm sure a lot when it come out in 20th of May last year, it was £8.50 or £8.75 was the cheapest they could sell 20 cigarettes for. And now I'm sure it's £9 a packet. So you can't buy 20 fags for less. Oh, I can get 20 for £8, Darren saying.
Off the fucking lucky man from around the corner.
Are they from a shop though, Darren, or are they like some moody Russians?
They're straight out of fucking back of a lorry.
Right out of Camden. Fucking. I'm not talking out my arse there. I've not seen a packet of fags in our manor, because like now they've got all the cages that block off the fags, but there's always a note on them that'll say like what their cheapest range is. So obviously people are normally going and ask for the cheapest range of fags. In our two local one stops, they're £9 dead. But I have seen Benson's and Embassy number 1 and like them posh fags as much as fucking £14, man, in service station. That is disgusting.
Fucking ridiculous.
And then people come into my shop and go, £15 for 100ml of liquid. Fucking hell, mate, you're taking the piss.
I'll go to the shop and get
I can't even afford to vape, man. I might just go and carry on smoking. Oh my god.
Oh my god. I can't find the minimum price of even.
Someone's saying cheapest saying on Google is £8.82, and I think last year it was set at £8.75. So they'll increase that year on year with the budget.
All I'm getting is fucking American prices.
But either way, it's not a lot.
It's like £9, isn't it?
You're looking at roughly £9 for 20 fags, and I'd say most people smoke 20 fags a day. And they're the same people that won't walk into our shop and part with £35 for a kit and 3 bottles of liquid and a spare coil. But actually, if you sell them right, and I still stand by it, and I know we've done this live, I know when Rick was on the live feed before and we spoke about the money side of things, we've never ever been a business that have sold on the health aspects of vaping, purely because when I first started selling vape gear, I didn't know what the fucking health aspects were. So I couldn't say to someone in my shop, or even when we were selling on Facebook, yeah, definitely safer than cigarettes, because I didn't know. But what I used to say to them was, I feel healthier not smoking tobacco.
Yeah.
A lot healthier. My chest is a million times better than it's been for the last 20 years, because I constantly had some sort of chest infection, coughing up fucking shit in the morning, every morning, tight chest, wheezy chest, constantly. That was just a norm for me. But what I used to say to them was, if you smoke 20 fags a day at £7 a packet, times the year, less everything that you spend on vaping, including replacement batteries, liquids, replacement coils, a new mod every 12 weeks. And we tried to really over-egg what the spend would be on vaping. They were still saving in excess of £2,000 a year. For me personally,
£9 a day is for 365 is £3,285. Yeah, that's just for 20 a day.
So then if you do, worst case scenario, so someone smoking 20 a day, easily 3 10ml bottles last you a week. I'm using about 30ml a week and I'm chonging non-stop. So if you say a tenner a week for your liquids times the year is 520.
Yeah.
If you say a coil every single Friday, which is what I genuinely used to do and still do. So if you say 350 for a coil, which is more because if you buy a pack, you can normally get coils from as cheap as £2 a coil if you buy a pack of 5. So, but if you say 350 times the year is another 175 quid. Right, so that's onto your
350. What is it? 350 times by 52 in it. 1 a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, 182. So you're looking at just shy of 700 quid for you.
Right, that's for your coils and your liquid. So then say if you buy an AO for $24.99 and one of them lasts you 3 months, you've got to buy 4 a year. So that's another 100 quid.
100 quid, yeah.
And then for argument's sake, all 4 of them fall out your car window, so you have to buy another 4. That's another 100 quid. So that's less than
900 quid.
900 quid. And that's give you liquid every day, a new coil every week, and 6 mods. So a brand new mod every grand, compared to what, 3,700.
Yeah.
So you've saved 2,700 quid.
Yeah.
2,700.
People complain about the initial fucking outlay of
£700, 52 quid a week.
Said he paid for his daughter's wedding, didn't they?
Yeah. We had a customer who says from the day that he stopped smoking and started vaping, he used to come into our shop, and whatever he spent on vape gear, even if he bought a new mod or more liquid or treated himself to something different, whatever was left out of his smoking budget every week went into a jar. So if he used to spend, say, 50 quid a week, which was roughly £7 a day, 7 days a week, 49 quid. So he spent 50 quid a week. If he came into our shop and only bought a coil, and we used to do like a pack where you'd get 2 10mm and a coil for a tenner. So most weeks, that's what he'd have. So he'd put 40 quid in his jar. If he treated himself to a new mod and it was 40 quid, he'd only put a tenner in his jar. But he always still kept spending that £50 either in our shop or in his jar. And he paid for his daughter's wedding out of what he'd saved from smoking.
Fucking hell.
And actually, because of a lot of the people that are vaping now have come in at this point of the industry where sub-ohming is the norm and people sub-ohm and they blow clouds and they use 50, 60, 80, 100 ml of liquid a day. They're the people that claim that vaping is not cheaper than smoking. But let me tell you, as someone that is still using a £35 device, and I use either Shady Vaping Liquid or Vampire Vape Liquid, which is 3 for a tenner. And obviously, I'm working this out on retail. I obviously get it at wholesale because we buy it to resale it, but it's a £35 mod. This is my second one in 12 months. And I've dropped it today and it's still working like a champ. But I mean, I've had, in 18 months, I've used 4 AOs. 2 standard and 2 pros, and both of the second standard and the second pro was just because I wanted a new mod, not because my other one stopped working. And I've used 30 ml of liquid a week. So I mean, I am that guy. I'm 35. I'm cheaper than that because I literally, because I use one flavour of liquid, my calls are lasting me, I would say, between 3 and 5 weeks in my AO. That's just using some sort of mentally type liquid. If I use Heisenberg, they don't last as long because I'm pretty sure food colouring fucks up coils. So like when I used to use Vape Purple Rain, Matt used to make me some without the food colouring in it. And actually my coils last longer than the Purple Rain that you buy off the shelf that's got the food colouring in. If I use straight menthol, I've had 7, 8, 9 weeks out of a coil because I'm just using menthol over and over again. It's clear liquid. I never let my tank run dry. If I've put AF in this as well because I've used the AF mouth too long, and I'm probably getting 2 to 3 weeks because there is some cool harder in some of them and there's some sweetener in other ones. So, but even then, I'm not exceeding this 1 coil a week. An AO coil is 250 or 5 for a tenner, so they're £2 each if you buy them in bulk. So that's, you know what I mean. It just gets cheaper and cheaper.
It's fucking like that's a tenner for like 4 months.
Mate, if someone's smoking 20 a day now at 9 quid, so that's 7 9s is 63 quid a week. They're spending just on 20 standard fags a week. I can sell them an AO Pro, 3 bottles of liquid, and the Pro comes with 2 calls as well. So all they need to spend is 45 quid. So they're still
Still 30 quid in fucking pocket.
Well, they're 18 quid in pocket on the first week. So that means actually it's 5 days worth of vaping for 45 quid. So if you buy it on Saturday and vape it until Thursday night and throw it in the bin, you're no worse off. But there's a massive chance you'll never go back onto the cigarettes.
Mm.
And that is still a technique I use to sell to this day, because it's difficult when people come in there as a newbie, as a smoker. Their first thought is that I've got to spend this much money and I've got to buy my fags and I ain't got enough. And I'm trying to say, look, this replaces your need to buy the cigarettes.
Yeah.
So if you take it one step back from that, where we used to do an ego kit with a 10ml bottle for fucking 20 quid. Actually, then you've only got to vape it for 2.25 days and you've saved your fag money. So buy it Saturday, vape it Saturday, Sunday, Monday morning, and if it's still not working, fuck it in the bin and go back to your fags and you're no worse off.
Yeah.
If you stick it out until Tuesday morning, you're 9 quid better off. Stick it out till Wednesday morning, you're 18 quid better off. Stick it out till next Saturday and you've got enough money to come in and buy yourself an AO Pro and you're still no worse off than what you was this time last week. And you can get into someone's head, like, and it's not even trying to sort of blind them in science. It is about converting this pound note spend that you will find your money for cigarettes come rain or shine.
Oh,
I've never ever I've been on Facebook for 10 years, 11 years, or whatever the fuck it's been. I've never once seen a status saying, I'm out of fags, man. Has anyone got any spare fags? Never. I've seen it for liquid many a time. I've seen it saying, oh, I've just broke me mod and my mod's broke. I'm going to have to go and buy a packet of fags. No, you're not, you dickhead. You're going to have to buy a fucking starter kit for 12 quid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But people will always find that money for cigarettes. They'll always, and a genuine vapor, or someone who has genuinely give up smoking because they vape, will always find the money for their vaping product. For me, any single person out there saying, I've got no money for liquid till the end of the month, there's a 90% chance they're still smoking. And the vaping is still something they do. Therefore, it's not got the same importance as having that. I need to have my vape gear. For me, my vape gear is as important to me as my cigarettes were to me before. So I don't know. That's just me personally. And
yeah, 100%. Right, let's get on to the next one. The next subject is, and this is quite. I don't know what I think of this. I think it's quite funny because I don't think it's a massive thing. But China to ban public use of e-cigarettes. China have already banned the public use of traditional tobacco, which majority of countries are starting to do anyway, apart from America. Public use, in your schools, in work, stuff like that. And obviously they're saying they want to ban the use of e-cigarettes now in public spaces. We probably know for a fact that it's 100% cheaper to smoke in China than it is to vape anyway. Yeah. So for them to ban this, are they just trying to normalize it, or what would you say the reason behind doing it?
I mean, for me, the only reason why I don't agree with it is because there's many studies to say the exhaled vape is carrying next to fuck all. You'd have to stand and breathe on someone while vaping, probably for longer than what you ever lived, to pass them anything on from the vape.
Yeah.
On that basis, it rankles me that it's categorized the same as tobacco. The downside is that the more countries that take this stance, the more it filters down to the UK at some point. And so that's I don't really give a fuck what China are doing, to be honest. They do what they do. They make their own rules. It's been banned in Australia for a long time. There's lots of countries that have got it banned anyway. I just think when someone as big as China met that stance, it just doesn't take long, and that long.
Funny thing is, though, it's not anything for health benefits because they're pumping out fucking smog like fucking no tomorrow.
That's what makes me laugh, is that China are producing the worst fucking emissions to air than any other country by a fucking country mile. And then they're going, oh no, you cannot vape, it's very dangerous. Mate, you've killed 9 kids today in the factory, and all you've done is swept them into a bucket of dead kids and carried on producing. They haven't even stopped the fucking plant. And the dad can't say anything about his son getting killed because he's the fucking manager. And it's like that's what rankles me with China, mate. They're just like they're so fucking. Stat says, you know what? I know, like silly things like when we started having the mods made 3 years ago, and we had the silver plated ones done and the chrome plating and all that sort of stuff. If we had them painted and say they put an extra $6 or $7 on to paint that mod, and then a $6 or $7 to silver plate the mod or chrome plate the mod or whatever. When I can't remember which mods I had done, and I asked for, it might have even been when I had like some of the deck silver plated or something, or was it? What did we have? We had the rhodium, the black chrome. When we had the first black chrome Empresses done, which was the first black chrome that we had done, and it was just the same as the silver plating. When we had the next batch done, she's trying to tell me it's an extra $5 on top for the black chrome, and I was like, why? And she's like, we have very strong rule on emission. I was like, you fucking don't, you mad cunts. But you know what actually they do? You know, like if you use proper suppliers, mate, they're actually on it. So even though like they get charged more because the companies that are producing that fume are getting charged more, or they're investing in new plants to control the fume. And obviously, chromate is carcinogenic when it's in its raw form. So you've got like hexavalence and something else. I know some of it because we use some sort of chromates at work. But yeah, they are actually cleaning up there. The trouble is, it's such a vast area of industry for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of miles square solid that you've got. Obviously, the people at the top of the game are trying to improve, and those at the bottom of the game don't give two fucks.
Yeah.
It will change over time, I'm sure it will. And at the end of the day, they're probably where we was in the early 1900s.
Well,
it took us 70 or 80 years in sort of mid 80s for people to start saying you can't have people working in these conditions.
Well, isn't that why Dudley's called Black Country? Because of the smog that used to be over it?
I think actually it's called the Black Country because there was a lot of foundry work, there was a lot of chain making, and all them sort of industries. The people come out black as fuck. Like because they were working in foundries and smog and shit and all that. So I don't actually know. It could be down to the amount of smog that was over the area because it was a heavily steel industrial area and still is. Cradley Heath is still makes chain and anchors and stuff like that. I know the anchor for the Titanic was made in Cradley Heath, which is just a few miles from us. So people think it's called the Black Country because there's no fucking darkies walking around, but actually, it's definitely something to do with industry. I'm just not sure whether it was the amount of pollution that was over the area or the fucking fact that every cunt come out of work with a black face because they'd been hammering and burning and smouldering and smalting and doing shit all day long. But now, I mean, if you look at the likes of Joy and Smock and all them companies, mate, they're on top of their game. Like people go, oh yeah, Smock are just, they've got kids producing their shit. They haven't, man. They've got state-of-the-art factories out there. I've seen videos when we were looking at working with Joy. They've got a building, mate, that is 12 stories high, and it is literally twice the size of fucking Land Rover, but 12 floors of premises. Each shift employed 2,600 people.
Fucking hell.
2,600 per shift. They were running 3 shifts a day. 7,500 employees.
That's mad.
It's crazy. And they, at that particular time, I don't know whether this is still true now, but when I go back 12 months ago when we first signed that agreement with Joy and we looked at what their capabilities were, they were the only company in China to do with electronic cigarettes that could, from design stage, including the software, including the chipsets, including all the IT backup, including the packaging, the manufacture, the painting, the anodizing, whatever their finishes were, right the way through to dispatching the product to me in the UK. They were the only company that could do it from start to finish in-house. And they just put this new plant in, and it was fucking. And then they just started messing with met mods. They put a full CNC machine shop in, so that nothing was done by heart. And I mean, these are state-of-the-art factories. They're not some fucking shed. They're state-of-the-art factories. Their employees are paid well, in comparison to other Chinese companies, their conditions are probably better than, I would say, 60% of the companies in the UK. They look after their staff because they've got such a prestige model of how to grow a business. iJoy was turning over worldwide £19 billion. The company's owned by one geezer. One geezer that fucked me for £20,000, and I hope he chokes on something one day and dies an early death, because he's turned over £19 billion a year and took 20 grand off me and fucked me for it, the little Chinese motherfucker. But that's another story. But yeah, I mean, that company's owned by one man, and iJoy, they've got a whole division of construction, because the construction in China is so vast. And when he started putting in his new factory, instead of hiring people, he just set up a construction company, built his own, and offers that service to other people. He's just, I mean, to be fair, he's a next level businessman. If I ever see him, I'll kung fu the fucking ears off the cunt. But yeah, I mean, there is a stigma around China about the way that they produce, and the trouble is that they've got, like, literally, they've got what we had, I believe, in the early 1900s, where you've got rags and you've got riches, and you've got different classes, like, to the next level. People are saying that there's class division in the UK coming back in. I don't think it's a bad thing, not because I'm some decronium motherfucker, but because I think that there's people in a lower class that will strive and strive and strive to get themselves out of that and work their way up the ladder. There's people that will always be in the lower class. There's people that will land on their feet in the high class, but they'll end up in the low class because then they're out of their depth. There's people there's just all different people in different walks of life that make the world spin round. Now, for me, China are, because they've a massively, like, same as India. India, you can go from being kids drinking water out of a lake that's got cow shit in it to the most fucking
lavish lifestyle, yeah.
the most wealthiest people in the world, and China's exactly the same. So you've got this lower end where they are literally smelting in the fucking shed, and the kids are 4 years old wearing fucking sliders, tipping this molten fucking metal into molds and doing. And you've got the flip side of that, where they are operating state-of-the-art factories, state-of-the-art equipment, using state-of-the-art techniques, state-of-the-art fucking health and safety procedures, environmental procedures, and all that sort of stuff. People think that China are sort of dictating what happens worldwide now. You give them another 10 years, mate, and they will be fucking on fire, because they'll fuck off all that shit. They will fuck off all that shit. And all the people that are running them little sweatshops now will end up being employed by these bigger corporations that are doing it right. And then they will take manufacturing to another level. And that's why I don't get why there's this big thing about, oh, you have your mods made in China. I use a small company. Now, by small companies, they're not in the garden shed making them. They've got a factory. They employ 42 people. That's a small company in China. It's probably a medium-sized company in the UK. I know what I spent with them at our peak when Endless was flying. We spent a huge amount of money with them. They were solely manufacturing Endless products. For 9 months, they didn't manufacture nothing else out of that factory apart from Endless. That's a lot of product coming out of that plant. And even now, I speak to them now, and they're saying, oh, the market's down in the UK, the market's down in China, the market's down in America for MetMod. They're looking at ways of diversifying what they do, because they don't want to just give up the business. But actually, they subcontract the plating because they can't do it in-house. But they do all the machining in-house. They subcontract the packaging, but then that goes back to them. Then everything's packaged up in-house, and so anything that they can't do internally goes out. It comes back to them. They inspect it. They do their QC. They send it to me. We do our QC. We sell it on. But there's companies out there, mate, that have literally could have halved my manufacturing costs. And when we talk about halving our manufacturing costs this time last year, if we'd have halved our manufacturing costs last year, we'd have probably been £250,000 better off. That's a lot of money. But actually, I never ever went that route, because I don't know what conditions these people are working. I don't know what machines they've got. I don't know how they're working. How are they managing to get the cost down so low? But there's people who've said to me, fucking hell, mate, I know that you can get an endless mod made for fucking $10. Tell me where I can get an endless mod made for $10 properly, because I can't. I can. I'd never sell it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't know, you get what you pay for at the end of the day. But believe me when I say, look, all you've got to think is, Tom, China manufactured the iPhone.
Yeah.
They manufacture Macs. They manufacture iPads. They manufacture 95% of every television that comes out of the world. The other 5% might be produced in Japan. But anything, we've got Bose surround sound here, fucking expensive surround sound, manufactured in China.
Yeah.
I've got a Sony speaker there, manufactured in China. There's an iMac over there, manufactured in China. I'm talking to you on an iMac, on an iPad, on a MacBook even, manufactured. I've got a Samsung S9, manufactured in China. Now, the bottom line is they've got the ability to manufacture better than anyone else in the world. People are still looking at this arse end of it saying, oh, no, they're shit, man.
Yeah.
Not, there's horses for courses, and that's the same in the UK. We're renowned worldwide for our engineering. But there's still engineering companies out there that couldn't even make my mods because they haven't got the fucking intelligence to make them, and they're not even that hard to make. They're quite a basic product. There's other engineering companies out there that make for aerospace because the UK can do it. But so can China. They're working with state-of-the-art machinery. So
yeah. Predominantly, the engineers are in this country. Like you look at F1, every engineer on their fucking teams are all fucking English. All of them are English. So we've got it. We've just obviously not got the resources of like China's have got.
You know, it's down to scale of economy, and even when we're manufacturing mods, if I have 1,000 copper made and 1,000 brass and 1,000 silver plated and 1,000 blue chrome rhodium and 1,000 black, it's cheaper than having 250 of each colour done. And if I have 10,000 done, it's cheaper again. And actually, when I spoke to them, I mean, the company that I use now have made limited amounts of clone products. The agent that I used to, that actually owns the company with her husband, used to work for another company that I used who sold clones. And when we first started looking at prices, obviously we used to spend a big amount of money on clone products, huge amount of money. So when I first went down the path of even speaking to them about manufacturing a mod for me, I'd got this figure in my head that I was expecting to pay. And the figure they first quoted me was 4 times that figure.
Mm.
And when I said to them, look, you've sold me these mods that are more complex than my mods to manufacture. And I know they are because I know what machining is involved and they've got more moving parts than mine, blah, 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 blah. And actually I can buy them for a quarter of the price. She says, that's because we run them off 25,000 mods at a time. 25,000. So if they made brass ables, 25,000 brass ables would come off the machine. Then 25,000 copper. And it was like, you get to them levels, Paul, and I'll give you that price. And I'm like, 25,000 of any one mod's a fucking hell of a lot of mods to sell. That said, it meant that we could have been selling an authentic mod for 30 quid. For the mod, the stack and the RDA box sold, done, bam, gone. My margins would have been similar. We wouldn't have made as much pound notes, but if we set the business on a margin level, we'd have been able to retail the first kit at 30 quid. And there's still been room for wholesaling that and distroing that. But obviously, you start manufacturing 25,000 mods, and I've got to go and see Tash for some fucking money.
Yeah, but when you think the manufacturing them sort of numbers,
Scale of economy, and actually, when you look at the likes of Wish and GearBest and them sort of sites there, obviously they've got big into this direct shipping to the UK now, haven't they? And obviously they're making fantastic margins on that stuff because they've realised that if they can sort out the shipping issues and sell to the UK market for 80% of the retail price, there's people in the UK that will wait the 10 days, the 12 days, the 5 days, the 6 months in some cases, but they've saved 60%, 50%, 40%, 30%. China are making huge margin on that product because they're not a company that's ever retailed directly before. The internet's allowed them to go direct to the fucking retailer.
Yeah.
Consumer. I mean,
yeah. So they just because it's manufacturing from where they are, there's no middleman. It's just
we've gone to GearBest now, and GearBest is probably something to do with about 80% of the product that they're selling, they're direct manufacturing as well. So normally they direct manufacture I'd buy it, we'd sell it to distro, we'd sell it to wholesale, we'd retail it. What they're doing is manufacturing straight to the consumer. So they're missing out 3 stages and only giving us. I mean, I've seen things on GearBest. I've seen some of the smock mods and stuff like that where it's only fucking £3 cheaper for me to buy it off there than it is to buy it wholesale.
Isn't
But obviously, for the consumer buying it direct, it's a decent saving.
it? It's just direct manufacturing straight to the consumer, and there's no middleman. They've not got a fuck about. They're just straight there. So obviously they're making a lot more money, being able to, like, I can't imagine what it's like in the States. All the time you hear with the States is stay American made and support your economy. You know what I mean? But when you've got sort of that, such a huge country being able to get import from China, do you know what I mean, at such a cheap price, it's pointless sticking with your own country. And I know it sounds horrible, but on a manufacturing state of, for instance, us guys, we go to the UK and we're selling mods a dirty 179 quid. It would be about 479 quid if we got manufactured in the UK because it's so expensive.
You know what? I mean, when I looked at having the clean and the cleaner sets made in the UK, now the first hurdle we fell at is they wouldn't manufacture an RDA for us. Because actually, I've paid, when we bought full RDA sets and then we ended up buying just decks and just caps off China because of the way that we sold, where you could just buy a cap or just buy a deck. I end up ordering 1,000 decks and, I don't know, 2,000 caps or whatever we need at that time. When we bought some of the RDAs as full sets that come in as an RDA with the deck, the top cap, the drip tip, the box and everything else, mate, it's only dollars cheaper than a mod for us to buy. Because actually, by the time you've machined the deck, you've got the 510 pin, you've got the insulator, you've got the positive post, you've got the peak insulator inside, you've got the screws, you've got the machining, then you've got the cap with the AFC, with the drip tip. All of that there is as much as sticking a rod of fucking brass into the machine and firing out some clean mods.
Yeah.
And even the switch itself, there's more machining in our switch than there is in our mod. And that's probably right for 90% of mods that are out there, if not more. So the first hurdle we had going UK was, oh yeah, we can't do the RDA, mate. We'd have to retail our RDA at about 140 quid. And then the mod, for what we were selling the mod for, is what we were getting quoted to manufacture the mod in the UK. So then we start selling a clean mod for 150 quid without the RDA, and then selling the RDA, even for a oneer, you're at £250 for what we were selling for 85 quid.
Yeah, and what the thing is for me is that,
and what does the end user get any better, mate, for his dough?
That's exactly what I was just going to say.
How do you justify an extra 160 quid in a product when you vape it? You can't even say to me, "Fuck me, that works better than the Chinese one."
You know what I mean? It works better because it was made here. It's like, well, it works exactly the same.
You might have a slightly better grade of steel. And then I know for a fact, I work with steel every day of my fucking life in the galvanising plant. China is flooding steel into the UK. Poland is flooding steel into the UK. Eastern blocks, all that Eastern blocks flooding steel into the UK, and it's shit grade of steel. They're machining it in the UK and selling it as UK made, and it's using Chinese products. And certainly with steel over brass or copper, you can get so many variants of that grade of steel. And when we come to galvanising, if it's shit quality, it shows in the galvanising. And then I've got customers saying to me, "Oh, the galvanising shit on this." Actually, it's not, mate. It's the steel that we galvanise. We can't control how shiny our coating is.
Yeah.
Galvanising is a chemical reaction. It's not like a plating. So we can't make the coating thicker or thinner. We can't make it shinier or duller. It is literally the chemistry of the steel going into zinc at 450 degrees causes a chemical reaction to take place. And when you take it out, you've got what you've got. But 98% of what we put on there is only governed by the spec of the steel that we put in there to start off with.
Yeah.
So for companies that we galvanise for that have a very high spec of steel, they get a very high finish of galvanising. For the company, for a man who's working out of his double garage with an arc welder from Argos making gates and railings and on a small scale, he's going to be buying the cheapest steel he can. It shows on the after we've galvanised it. And then he's the same bloke who'll come back to me and go, mate, it's galvanising shit. It's not us, mate, it's your steel.
Shit steel, yeah. But as you say, even if you do get the product made in the UK, it's not always going to be the best because where the source metals come from.
Exactly. I mean, there is still British steel. It's owned by Tata. It's owned by an Indian company, but there is still manufacturing of steel in Britain. It's nothing like the amount that was being manufactured 30 years ago.
Yeah.
When British steel was British steel, and actually we were exporting worldwide. We're not anymore.
It's all in-house, and it all for what we need it for.
I mean,
it's like Sheffield just be full of steel places.
Vaping, for me, it's just sad that they put it into the same category as tobacco. All industry pollution aside, it's just sad that they choose to categorise it the same as tobacco.
100%, 100%. Right, we're going to go into a bit of a serious subject now, and it's vape shop robberies. Over the last couple of weeks, I've seen a few more shops getting robbed or stolen or broken into, or whatever like that, and stuff like that. And I saw a video as well the other day, yesterday it was, of actually a consumer stealing from a store. I just sort of want to bring this up because obviously a lot of these companies that are in the industry now, especially in the UK, are family-owned businesses. And I just want to get it out there that obviously we need to be supporting our shops and industry rather than fucking stealing from it. I get that there's fucking dirty fucking scumbags out there, but I think we need to make sure everybody aware that obviously if you're supporting your own, make sure that obviously I was just vexed the other day. Yesterday I was vexed because I saw this bloke robbing juice, and what pissed me off was he stole a bottle of juice, right? And I can't remember which store it's from, but he stole a bottle of juice while paying for another one. And then shops are getting broken into because obviously the value of e-cigarettes are going up, and it's very popular, or it's very normalized.
You know what? I can honestly say, right, I'd never buy stolen goods for the shop. And I've been offered van loads of stuff, mate. I've been offered it from day one. And not because I'm some sort of gangster in Birmingham, but I know a lot of people. So when we open the shop, if any of my pals or acquaintances from back in the day managed to come across a van load of vape gear, the first person would ring his me and go, mate, I've got a fucking whole van load of it. I wouldn't even entertain looking at it, mate. Because obviously, if I go back 4.5 years ago and we opened the shop, there was only fucking another half a dozen within 20 mile of me.
If that.
I knew some cunt whose fucking shop had been turned over. The point is, I knew, like, they started, I'd phone them up and say, how'd you get on with that gear? Because I'd want to know who they've sold it to. Because I'm probably dealing with the cunt, you know what I mean? So, and actually, I wouldn't deal with them genuinely. And I think the thing is now is, you go onto eBay and put in vape product, mate, there's fucking hundreds and thousands of listings, from the man in the street who's selling his old Smock Alien because he's upgraded to a Smock Mag, to someone who's just bought a little bit off a distro and he's shot in a bit of extra cash towards his fucking dole money, to businesses that have extended their selling platform onto eBay and Amazon and the like. It's easy to get rid of. It sells well. You've got a much bigger audience now than what you had fucking 4.5 years ago for it. I just think it's scummy. I think it's. I mean, we've had a few shoplifters in our shop, and I outed one of them badly on my cameras before because we got him on camera stealing the tester bottle, mate. Tester bottle of liquid, and it was 180 ml of Balls vape that cost me 85 quid. Cost me 85 quid to have them, and they were set up it was called Balls Vape, and each of them had like a pool ball on it, and actually the display on the counter was a triangle off a pool table, and then it had all the bottles inside the triangle.
That's cool.
Swiped one of the we used to sell 30 ml of Balls Vape for fucking 20 quid.
The days.
£20 for 30 ml, and he swiped the tester bottle of 180 ml, mate. And I was like, you fucking pikey cunt. And I had to pay for them. I had to buy I had to buy that display. Like now, we send out someone some AF. We send them a fucking sample bottle for each flavour that they take. Then I had to buy that display for my shop to let people try it, so they'd buy it. I had to, and then I was like, mate, surely you can give me that now, mate. You either want it or you fucking don't, because that's how shit was back then. And actually, he was in the shop for 20 minutes and swiped the tester bottle, and we had him blatantly banged to rights on camera. And I shared it all around. I didn't know who it was. Could have just. And the trouble was then, because there weren't so many vape shops around, we'd have a huge amount of regular customers and also a huge amount of random customers, because they'd travel over. 2 and 3 people might come in one car. Oh, let's go over to Shade Saturday. They might drive to me, see what I've got, then drive 10 mile down the road to James's Evo shop, see what he's got, drive into Digbeth, see Grey Hayes, because it was like a day out to go and visit these vape shops. So actually, although we had a huge amount of repeat business, we had a lot of these people just coming once a month or once every 2 months. We had a customer that used to drive up from down south every month and get their liquids off us, because they'd come up to visit family and nowhere else by them done the liquids that we done in our shop. So I don't know, mate. If your business is doing that badly that you've got to buy stolen goods off someone that you probably know to make a bit more profit in your shop, mate, shut your shop and fucking go back on the dole.
Pop said it as a question. He said, my mate shop in Castleford got robbed for 25 grand's worth of gear. Good job he had some funds for restock. Is insurance for vape shops more expensive than other insurance?
We have used the same insurance company for 5 years, and every year it's gone up exponentially. But we have to have roller shutter front and back, which we've got at both shops. Dudley has got 2 roller shutters on the back. So there's one inside the shop and one outside the shop. So if they take the first one off, it'll set the sensors off for the alarm. We had to have red care on the alarm system so it phones the police.
You get a phone call as well, don't you?
We'll get a phone call straight. Like Tasha's had a phone call tonight just because they couldn't set the alarm, and it's because one of the doors ain't shut properly. So because the sensors aren't engaged, they can't even activate it. So the phone it won't go off. Check the doors. One of the doors isn't locked properly or shut properly. But the trouble is that a lot of these places have got the shop. And to be honest, mate, we've had times where when we had endless deliveries last year, we could have had 200,000 or 300,000 pounds worth of stuff in our shop. And actually, we try not to carry nothing like that amount of stock now, just for this reason. We've got the Yardley shop is this. We're fortunate enough that right outside the shop we've got street cameras as well, because it's opposite a pub. So the street cameras out there. We've got a 12 camera system inside and outside the shop. We've got roller shutter on the front, roller shutter on the back, bars on the back windows, which you can't even get to. You'd have to climb up on top of a building to get in our top windows, but we've barred them anyway, just to be on the safe side. Every internal door is locked and chub locked. Then we've got the alarm. So if the roller shutter goes up at the front, the alarm will go off. If the roller shutter at the back goes off, the alarm will go off. Inside, then they've got to get through the doors and a steel door, both front and back. So I'm hopeful that if my alarm goes off, obviously the minute if our alarm goes off, red cares the police, it phones us. I can log. Yeah, but it went off randomly one night at Yardley. And because my phone was on silent and Tashi's phone was on silent, we'd never even got the call. But the police were there in 3 minutes.
Fucking hell.
Now, but obviously a vet lives fucking 2 minutes from the shop. She was there as well. So as a vet fucking was trying to phone us, say the alarm's going off. She decided to drive out there. By the time she got there, the police were there. Now, to get our roller shutter off and get through the steel door at the back, you probably wouldn't do that in 3 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
Now, since that night, I don't have my phone on silent for that fucking reason. But if I get a call now at 9:45 saying my alarm's gone off, the first thing I'll do is straight onto my cameras. If some activity is going on, it shouldn't be. There's 100 hooligans all can phone in Sheldon and say, get to my shop.
Yeah.
Sharpish, you know what I mean? So, but don't go there with the gun or fuck all. Or
because coppers will be there in 2 seconds.
Probably, yeah, exactly. Just get up there. And if there's anyone kicking the back door off, just put them in the back of the van. I'll be down in 20. But the amount of vape shops I see that haven't got roller shutters is shocking. It's fucking shocking. And if you go into most vape shops, even what they've got on display is probably getting on for fucking somewhere between 15 and 25 grand. Just what they've got on display in the actual shop itself. Now, our stock rooms are upstairs in Yardley, so they've not only have they got to break in, they've then got to go through all the doors and get upstairs to get to the stock room. By which time, when they're coming down the stairs, someone will be there to meet them with a bag and tie the cunts right up for me. But I see it regular, and to be honest, obviously just driving around every vape shop I always have a look at. The amount that are exposed is shocking.
It's mad. It's mad. I think,
and I am 99% sure, mate, that if they've not got a roller shutter on the front, they've got no insurance. I couldn't get none. I couldn't get none. And actually, I know that Chris Hannigan, when we flew up to Edinburgh last year or the year before for his vape meet, he got turned over about 2 weekends after that. He couldn't have a roller shutter on his shop because of the village they were in. They couldn't get planning permission for the roller shutter.
Fucking hell.
They wouldn't give it him because it's like an old fucking village. So they're just they're not even like double glazed, mate. They're glass fucking fronted shops.
Fuck. That's fucking mad. But what annoys me is somebody's livelihood.
Yeah, but it will cost you the fucking earth.
Yeah. It's somebody's livelihood, and because for me, in my mind, I just don't think it's just anybody. You've got to know the value of what's in that shop. You just don't boot door off. I've seen flannels in Leeds in City Centre last week got done. They've been ram raided 4 times in the last 6 months. It's flannels. It's got Gucci. It's got fucking Versace. Everything you can imagine. They fucking licked off the doors for. For me personally,
flannels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've got obviously got. That's where I got my Giuseppe's from the other day with flannels, and
they get licked off. They've been done in six months, 4 times in 6 months. And my annoyance is the person who's ram raided flannels knows exactly what's in there, what high-end gear's in there. So if you're going to do out a vape shop, you know exactly what's in there. So it's not somebody that's not in the fucking know. It's not any old Jimmy that's going around to smash up a shop and fucking loot it. They're going because they know what's in there. And if you haven't got the right protection of what shit you've got in there, I'm sorry, but there's something you need to do about it.
You know what?
Because did Mark Wilkes get turned over twice as well in the matter of weeks?
Yeah, Mark's been turned over. I mean, I know people that have been repeated. I know Green Dog had their same shop robbed 3 times. And I was saying to fucking Andy, well, you obviously met Andy when you went to the opening of the Sheldon, when he opened his one in Sheldon. And I was like, mate, why the fuck? I mean, mate, I swear to God, right, on my dad's grave, when we opened our shop, on the Friday night, they come and fitted the roller shutter for me on the Thursday, and the sign went up above the shop on the Friday night, and I had about 200 quid to my name. But actually, it's actually my nephew's father-in-law that does the roller shutters for us, and he done it me on the tick. But I said to Tasha, there's no way I can afford not to have that roller shutter on the front.
Yeah.
Just not worth it. And even if it only takes them, I know people that can pull a roller shutter off in 2 minutes, mate, rip it completely off. Then they've got to reverse into the fucking shop. Now, we've got tamper on our roller shutter. So if it lifts off the floor when it's activated, by even fucking 2 mil, it will activate the alarm. If it's pulled away, it'll activate the alarm. So then they've got to pull it away, move it out the way, reverse through the fucking shop, fill up the car and get off. Now, they could probably do that in fucking 4 or 5 minutes. I'm hopeful that in that time, the fucking police will be there. Now, the plus side of me having this street camera right outside the shop is there's no trouble around there because the street cameras are monitored 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So on that basis, we're in a good spot. The back of the shop is not that accessible. I've still got 2 roller shutters on the back of the company, one inside and one out. In fact, you've got the roller shutter, you've got the steel door, you've got a roller shutter. So if you rip the roller shutter off and then rip the steel door off, you're going to be pissed off. You've got another fucking one to go through. Then you're in the kitchen. There's fuck all in there. You've then got to go through another door to get into the shop. So even if you emptied out the shop contents, you've got to go through another door and upstairs and through another door to get into the stock room. You know what I mean? And it's like we just try and make it as difficult as we can, because that's just how it is. Pops has asked if other robberies affect our premium. Our premiums have gone up year on year for 6 years, so on that basis they must do. But because we've got Red Care and because we've got the shutters and because we've got the alarms, because we've got and our camera system also monitors internally and externally. So if our hard drive gets pinched out the shop, there's still external recording of whatever's on the cameras. So these are all things that basically we've done. We never had all of that at the start. I just had a basic fucking 8-camera system that I bought from Maplins, and that's what we installed at the start. Then about, I'm trying to think, last year, it must have been last year, because the same person put all the alarm on Dudley and changed all the cameras at Yardley at the same time, and had all my house camera and fucking the alarms fitted on the house at the same time. But we've just tried to tick as many boxes as we can when we renew the insurance to keep our premiums down. Now, the reality is that Red Care at Dudley was it was not even like, if you have Red Care, it'll fucking sort your policy out. If you haven't got Red Care, we ain't insuring you.
Fuck.
Now, most people would not pay for a Red Care system. There's lots of shops that haven't got fucking shutters on their vape shop. There's vape shops, mate, where you can kick one pane of glass and you're in the shop, and they keep all the stock in that fucking shop. And I say, and even a lightly stocked shop is a £25,000 haul, of which, if they're lucky to sell that on as a bulk lot for £5,000, they probably wouldn't even get that for it. But for two people to smash their way into a shop, get off with 25 grand's worth of stock, go and drop it at some cunt's house for £5,000, it's not a bad night's work. So, I mean, for me, anyone that's got a vape shop, you just need to make it as difficult as possible for them, as difficult as you can. Simple as that.
It's your livelihood. It goes back to, it's usually a family-run business. And to me, personally, your shop gets turned over, that's your business could possibly be done.
And we've got a cap limit on our insured stock as well. There's times where we've had more stock in that shop than whatever's on my insurance.
It's fucking mad.
I'd say at our highest point, we might have even had £500,000 worth of stock in that shop. But no, actually, Dudley carries more stock because of the Red Care, because of that shop's probably twice as hard to get into as Yardley, and Yardley's a cunt to get into. Now, to be fair to Andy, who I bought the shop off, he'd already got Red Care there. I took it over, but I had to take it over to honour insurance because he'd already got it in there anyway. The only thing we done was we had a roller shutter put on the inside. So downstairs is like the downstairs at the back of the shop is actually on another level because the street drops down. So like when you go down our stairs to the bottom of Dudley, the door there is down on the bottom level. So you've got a roller shutter on the street, then there's a metal gate, then there's a door, then there's a roller shutter on the inside. Now I added the inside one just for not even for shits and giggles. It cost me £600, I think. But for me, it was £600 miles spent.
I'm telling you,
it's go through the roller shutter, the metal gate, the door, roller shutter. By which time the first roller shutter will activate the alarm. Then they've got another 3 doors to get through to get into the premises.
Like you're saying, the £600 well spent. Do you know? At the end of the day, £600 to protect your livelihood is fucking nothing.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Popsy's saying when punters wonder why price of product are what they are, all this extra security has to be paid from somewhere. Pops, our margin for our business is lower than it's ever been. Not just our margin on what we're buying product for compared to what we're selling product for. It's lower than it's ever been in 6 years. And actually, what he's done, it's cost me and Tasha money. As simple as that, because when we put the £600 roller shutter on, we didn't charge more on goods to cover that £600. To me, it's just part of the running costs of that business. And if you can't afford to, I mean, I don't know how much a front shutter cost us. £1,000, might be 12. I think we were quoted £1,200 to replace the one at Dudley with an electronic one.
That's a bigger one than yours.
But that's nearly, it's probably 1.5 times as big as the Yardley shutter because the shop's wider.
Yeah.
If you can't afford to put them basic things on your shop to secure it, you shouldn't. Only my opinion.
You better sleep in the fucker.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, like I says, when we got that first shop and like every penny we had went into buying the cabinets, the fucking painting the shop, the slat boards and stocking the shop up. The roller shutter was on my list of shit that has to be done before we open that shop. Before any product goes into that shop, it needs a roller shutter. And it had a roller shutter on there. But actually, it had one of them roller shutters where there's a bit of a slat and then it's like a brick wall, and every brick was missing a slat so you can see through into the shop.
Yeah.
That's all well and good, mate. But I know people that will put a rope around that and rip the fucking roller shutter straight off the fucking rails. So as much as we had a roller shutter on there, I was like, we not putting a bottle of liquid in there until it's done properly. And like I said, I had the roller shutter done on tick for a week. But
is that not the right way though, Paul? Do you know what I mean?
Absolute priority for me not to open that shop without it. And I say, me and Tash see it all the time, and like I see these videos of burglaries on Facebook, and I'm like, why the fuck have they not got roller shutter on that shop? We drive past them and look, they're fully open at the front. The big fucking light flashing all night saying vape shop, vape shop, vape shop.
I've seen that. Well, we're gonna go on to something positive because we are coming up to the end of the show. I'll let everybody know about the giveaway at the end of the show. I've got a little bit of a surprise that I'm gonna do. So make sure you stick around. Make sure you stick around for if you're wanting a ticket. So we're going to go on to a bit of something more positive, and this will obviously make you smile. You've said this week after week after week. So I'm going to read a little bit of this article, and it says, a committee of the UK Parliament has issued a report endorsing the promotion of electronic cigarettes to smokers and calling for review on some vaping product restrictions. The report has also rejected the idea that vaping acts as a gateway to smoking among British youth. The specific recommendations from the committee are encouraging a wider debate about vaping in public areas, continue to annually review the evidence of electronic cigarettes and extend the review to heat not burn products, which we know that goes to. Institute a long-term research programme overseen by Public Health England and the Committee of Toxicology of Chemicals in Food, Consumer Products and the Environment. Review the 20 milligram limit of e-liquid strength. Result. Review the 2 ml limit of tank size. Result. Review the prohibiting of making health claims for the relative health benefits of vaping versus smoking, regulations, advertising rules and taxes, and the National Health Service should allow vaping in mental health facilities as default policy. The government should review the evidence supporting the current ban. And basically in this report, it says a lot of the restrictions that they've brought forward for debate won't take any heed until we're out of the European Union. If we actually come out of the European fucking Union, because obviously we are under the TPD. But this article is very fucking positive. So for them to actually take heed on what we've been saying for the last 18 months is sort of definitely a positive. What's your thoughts, Paul? Are you glad to get your fucking more than 20 milligram back? And you glad to get
the cynical side of me says exactly what it says 2 years ago when it was first announced that vaping would become available on the NHS. And that is that when the likes of Mr. Philip Morris and Mr. Oikos have started producing products and buying companies and buying liquid manufacturing facilities, and they realise that there's much more profit to be made out of a 60 ml bottle of 3 or 6 milligram than there is out of a 50 ml in a short fill, etc., etc. The cynical side of me says they're a bunch of wankers, because I would stake my house on the fact that somewhere on this committee is big tobacco. Even if it's through the avenues that they've managed to snap up within the vaping industry, they will guide and steer. Some cunt somewhere will be getting his fucking pocket lined. That says anything positive has to be positive. And it rankles me, because I do feel that, I mean, I can remember before when the first time it was said about giving them away on prescription, must be 2 years ago. And the whole fucking newsfeed was full of, yes, about time. And I was the only one that put a post up saying, motherfuckers, all this proves to me is that big tobacco are about to start stomping this industry. They're just setting the stall of where this needs to be. And we've had TPD now for 18 months. It's been absolutely superseded by and large with short fill. Short fill single-handedly has fucked the industry. And then because these big boys now have started buying companies and they are manufacturing their own, and I know, for instance, Blue who we had in the shop, and it's owned by Philip Morris, and they've bought 2 or 3 different manufacturing facilities for e-liquid, not all in the UK, some of them are in Europe as well. I think 2 of them are in like sort of the Eastern Bloc, so sort of Ukraine or that sort of neck of the woods, and one UK manufacturing facility, because they're now manufacturing their own liquid. They're now looking at manufacturing their own hardware, and then all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh, we need to look at this. We've been a bit harsh." And I'm like, who the fucking hell's just had a big fucking anonymous check put in their bank? Some contact.
Definitely.
But that says for the industry, it's good. I mean, my only issue with the whole of the TPD was 20 milligram limit and 2 mil tanks. Everything else I fully agree with. And actually, the good thing about the restriction on bottle sizes is that most consumers would rather buy a bottle of liquid with their nicotine already in it. So if it's a 3 milligram 60 ml bottle or 120 ml bottle or 100 ml bottle or whatever, the bottle size, the bottle size will, if this happens, the bottle size will change again. I'm sure it will. I mean, it was all 20 mils prior to, 60 mils prior to TPD. Everyone had gone 60 mil. I'd imagine now, instead of being 120 mil, we'd probably even out 100 mils for that sort of 20 pound of whatever the 60 mil used to be. The good thing about that is they've got to be TPD compliant. So these people have got to start putting the money where their mouth is when they're knocking out 60 flavours of shit month on month on month. The downside is how do they ever regulate 0 milligram when it's not part of the TPD? How do they incorporate it as part of the TPD without then people just selling it completely as VG, PG?
Would you have it as one of the regs then? Sort of, if they did a separate regs for vaping, would you say that even if it is to be consumed as a vaping product, even 0 milligram needs to be tested?
Absolutely, because 0 milligram can still contain diacetyl.
Yeah.
And mate, I don't care what anyone. I know 100% there's companies out there that are using different ingredients to what they submitted for their TPD test.
100%.
Even in their TPD compliant product, which is 10 ml bottles. I also know that there's people out there that drop ranges prior to TPD landing, and they've started up flavours after TPD landing because then they can stick a bit of diacetyl back in their custards. So on that basis, that was one of the things in the TPD that I always stood behind, because, like I said last week's show, even when we were completely unregulated 6 years ago, and I spent months trying to see what regulations I had to comply with to find out there was none, we didn't sell Chinese liquid. I only bought UK, European or American juice, thinking I was doing the right thing. How many American companies got fucked for diacetyl?
Lots.
Prior, you know what I mean, when it first became a thing. So
how many do you see now? That's Mike. How many do you see in the UK? You don't see many American companies in the UK.
UK are smashing it, mate, as far as I'm concerned. Actually, they're producing some of the best liquid in the world. But I don't know. I just think that pre-mixed 10 mils do seem to taste better than the short fill equivalent. I agree, actually. I think I know there was something. I've seen something in last week, probably before last week's show, and it was. I'm not even going to say the name because I actually really like the bloke, but he was basically saying that nicotine does not help liquid steep in any way, shape, or form. I disagree personally. I think that. I mean, I know from a chemist's point of view, it might not make any difference on paper. I'm just saying, in real life, a pre-nicotine liquid steeps better, in my opinion, than even a nick shot that's left to steep. I mean, if you could think, some of our liquids, we might have them on the shelf for 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks, depending on how much we've bought. They're steep to fuck. So even if you put your nick shot in there, because it's such a small percentage of the bottle, give it a shake, you might be nick harsh for a bit, more so than needs steeping.
What is steeping these days, though, with short fill being such a massive thing? I don't know anybody who leaves a bottle to steep.
No, but but the point that I'm making is that obviously when we're buying AF in the quantity we buy, some of our AF now is going to be July, August, probably 10 weeks old from the second batch that we had delivered. So them bottles are sort of super steep in my opinion. So when you add the nick shot, the difference with the AF is obviously you're adding more nick shot for the volume. So actually, I've got some lemon puff on my desk that I've had on my desk for months. That's fire.
That's
But
pre
it's just
that's been nicked
steeping
already.
away with the nick shots in there doing its thing.
Yeah.
But I
That's
mean,
the thing.
absolutely, 0 milligrams should be tested. Should be tested.
I agree. I agree with you 100% because it will, without being offensive to anybody, it's not aimed at anybody, but it'll wean out the shit. Simple as it will wean out the shit. I just want to mention what I think it's Neil asked, saying about. Let me just have a look because I do want to mention it because I don't agree with it.
And Jack's just says there, and I know this to be fact as well. Some companies that bring out 100 ml short fill haven't even changed the ratio from what used to be their 100 milligram, 100 ml, 0 milligram. So by the time you've added your nick shots, it will dilute the flavour. Now, obviously, there's lots of companies out there that do take into account the fact that you've got to put in 10 mil, 20 mil, 30 mil of nick shot or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What was your?
I want to mention this if we can, Paul.
Yep.
Neil said, "What's your view on the talks of allowing vaping on public transport and hospitals?" No. That's a no for me. That's a straight no.
I think it's ridiculous.
It's bad press. It's fucking bad press because you're not going to get.
I don't get why. Back in the day, right, up until vaping started in the mainstream 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever date people want to say, if you smoked and you was in hospital and you was bedridden, you couldn't have a fag. Simple as that. So if you're in hospital now and you vape and you're bedridden, you can't fucking vape. Now, there's like when a vet was in hospital 2 weeks ago, actually she was vaping on the ward. They never said nothing. They let her use it and whatever.
I bet she's blowing big fucking clouds though, was she?
Yeah, but whether she's or she isn't, I still think if you can't get out for a fag, why would you expect to sit in a hospital bed and vape? If you didn't used to smoke walking around fucking as that, why the fuck do you feel the need to do it now? And I've said this for a long, long time. It ain't just because.
And I believe that exactly the same. But me personally, if they were to allow it on a bus and they was to turn around and go, you can vape on the bus, you can vape in the hospital. The thing is, there's a difference between vaping discreetly and sitting there and blowing fucking clouds because all you're going to do is bring negativity to vaping. If you sat there with a mouth to lung like me and you sat there just, a little, you can't see fuck all, but somebody comes along and using a fucking smoke mag and goes and starts filling up the fucking bus, the first thing they're going to go is, what a cunt is he? Ban vaping on buses straight away. That's what's going to happen. It's just going to be negative. It's going to turn into, okay, then this whole picture we've got of people vaping is not much vapor and you can't see the vapor and all you can do is smell it and whatnot. Literally, that's all you can do. The minute you get it and you get somebody who takes the piss, comes on with a 0.07 fucking mech build and starts blowing out fucking clouds, it's taking the piss. That, to me, it's just a negative. It just starts bringing us back down again. Because people are starting to accept it, and then you get some dickhead who thinks it's cool to sit on the back of a bus with his fucking Wismec Active blowing fucking banging his tunes out on his Wismec Active. That is honestly my negativity to it. I 100% agree it shouldn't be allowed, but we've all sat in restaurants and a sneaky fucking vape on his mouth to lungs. We've all sat going around having a little sneaky on mouth to lung. The minute it starts becoming accessible, everyone's going to take the piss with it. That's exactly what I feel.
No, I agree, 100%. I say I don't like my own fucking vape shop being full of vape. I certainly don't understand why fucking Barbara who catches the bus to fucking her sister's house once every week has to be suffering moist smell of fucking strawberries or whatever I'm choosing to vape on that week. I just don't get it, man. You're on the bus for fucking 25 minutes. Get off and have a vape outside. Well, mate,
on a plane to Australia.
Last week it was over the news, weren't it, about this vaping malarkey? And Like obviously there was a lot of stuff done up north because they were in a lot of the totally wicked shops and interviewing a woman on the street and she was like, I'm not even allowed to vape it in shop. I'm not allowed to vape it on bus. And I was like, you never used to smoke walking around the shop, Barbara. Why the fuck are you on your high horse about vaping in the fucking shop? Not only, I used to see posts on Facebook of people going, it's not even illegal to vape indoors. Doesn't mean it's right to do it and act like a knobhead.
It's not morally right. Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of something about you, I think, but they each to their own, mate, I guess.
100%. Right, we're at 11 minutes past 10, and I'm not gonna do a giveaway this week. Do you know why? Because what I'm gonna do is I've got a code for some free tickets for Manchester, and I can decide how many people I give this code to. So everybody that's stuck around this week and generally wants to go to Manchester, drop me a PM and I will send you the code and you will get a free ticket for joining the chat this week. Rather than making you do out funny, for sticking around, for the loyal people that come in every week, if you want to go to Manchester, message me. But let you know, next week before the show, when we're doing live feeds on Facebook, you will have to work for it. So this week, if you stuck around, get fucking PMing me. I'll send you a code, get your tickets. But as I say, if you haven't watched the show and you're watching it back, I'm sorry, but I'll give out the codes this week. So PM me, I'll give you a code, get a ticket. But I'm going to try to do a feed next week sometime with Paul, and we're going to make you fucking work for a couple of tickets. So this week I'm being genuine and generous. So we'll do it like that. So guys, Paul, thank you for joining me this week. I've really enjoyed the show.
Week, mate.
You what?
Got no status of the week.
Fucking hell, I forgot. I have written it down and all. Right, let me get my phone out. Fucking hell, you've got to remind me on these things. Right, ready. Status of the week. Right, bear with me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so as we said last week and the week before, nobody messaged me or told me your fucking status as well. So you're all slack for not messaging me fucking Paul's best status of the fucking week as well. Because I did put a status out. So we're gonna get onto Paul's Facebook and we're gonna give him his status of the week. I think I've seen this one anyway. I think he might have put it up today, I think. I did like the picture about back in the day. I did like that one, but it's not really status. But I did like that one back in the day when you could just have a straightener. There's no computer.
You see my status last night at 8:58?
Oh, about paying for it. Yeah, so I did see that one.
That was today. There was one
today?
when I used to smoke.
Oh my God, I've just literally saw this one. Status of the week, we're not going anywhere. Paul says at 2 minutes to 9 last night, said, I remember when I smoked and I chucked a fag out the window, not realizing the back windows were open. After a few minutes, I could smell something really weird. So quickly turned around to check, and my nan was in the back, fingering herself. Oh, God bless Nan. God bless her.
And then last night, my mum liked that status and then unlocked straight away. She must have just gone through that all Paul's post. I'll give him a like for a bit of moral support. But she must have read it like dirty bastard. And I knew how much I was going, Paul, there's no bloody need for that.
That is fucking brilliant. But I did like the one today you put up when you said about the picture and it says back in the day when you couldn't hide behind a computer screen and it's a lad giving another lad a fucking dig. I liked that one. I did like that one. It was mint. So guys, on that note, we're out of here. As I say, give me a message if anybody wants to go to Manchester Expo. I'll give you a code. Remember to join us next week, Wednesday. Make sure you drop a like on the video as well. If you haven't shared it, make sure you share it, and we'll do some videos or live feeds next week and make you work for some tickets. So that's for us tonight. Thank you for joining us, Paul. It's been fucking fun as always, and we'll see you all soon. Take it easy. Night, guys. Bye.